Okay, hi, good day all. Today we'll be doing May/June 2021 number 8, which is your first question in section 2 for paper 2, right? Which is algebra, relations, and functions and graphs. And if we look at this is an inequality question. They said Mala buys two types of phones, B-Flow and C-Flex, from a company to retail. One B-Flow mobile phone costs $60, while C-Flex costs $80. She buys X number of B-Flow phones and Y number of C-Flex phones. Mala must not spend more than $1,200. Write an inequality to represent this information. So we know for number of B-Flow, it would be the cost of the number for B-Flow. We don't know what number she's buying, so she buys X phones for B-Flow. So, and we know that the cost of B-Flow is 60. So the cost of B-Flow phones, I shouldn't put the number, the cost would be X times 60, which is equals to 60X, right? And the cost of C-Flex would be, they told you C-Flex is Y and C-Flex costs $80. So that's Y multiplied by 80, which is equals to 80Y. So if we were to combine these two, 60X, we don't know how much phones it is, so that's why it is staying as X and Y. So 60X plus 80Y, it is, they said must not spend more than 1,200. So for the most she's spending 1,200 is less than or equal to 1,200. Now you can leave it as this, or you can look at the numbers and see what could go into each number. I could see 20 could go into each number. 20 could go into 60, so I'm going to say 60 divided by 20 is 3. So this is 3x, and then 80 divided by 20 is 4. So this is plus 4y is less than or equal to 1,200 divided by 20. Across all the zeros. 2 could go into 2, 1, 2 could go into 12, 6, 0, right? So 20 could go into 1,200 60 times. So my inequality will be 3x plus 4y is less than or equal to 60. And that would be my inequality to represent the information above. Second part, the number of B-Flow phones must be greater than or equal to the number of C-Flex phones. Now we know that B-Flow is X phones, and we know that C-Flex is, so B-Flow is X and C-Flex is Y. Write down an inequality in X and Y that shows this information. They said B-Flow phones must be greater than, so X must be greater than or equal to Y, right? That's basically, they said B-Flow phones is X and C-Flex phones is Y, and then we have greater than or equal to, which is the one that look like a 7 with an equal sign underneath. So it is X is more than or equal to Y, and that would be your answer. Do we understand? Okay, so when we look at this question, they said represent the two inequalities on page 22, which was x is more than or equal to y, and 3x plus 4y is less than or equals to 60, and label as R the region that satisfies both inequalities. So first off, right, this, we're going to take out the inequality sign. Let me just write this back. We have 3x plus 4y is less than or equals to 60. We're going to erase this, right? So we're going to change it to a equation. So it's x is equals to y, and this one would be 3x plus 4y is equal to 60. Right now, when we are saying x is equals to y, we know that the point of origin, 0, 0, is x is equals to y. Then we're going to look at your x-axis, which has 20, and your y-axis also has 20. So the next coordinate would be, So the two coordinates we're going to plot is 0, 0. And because your y-axis, the maximum on your y-axis and your x-axis is 20, we're going to plot 20, 20. So you plot 0, 0 already. 20, 20 would be, I just need to see the entire thing, right? 20, 20 would be right here. Then you're going to take your line, so this line here is where x is equal to y, or y is equal to x, right? And if we look at our inequality, right, they said x is more than or equal to y. So that would be this region here, this region going up here. Right? Then we're going to look at this one where it is 3x plus 4y is equals to 60. When you have x and y's like this, you're going to say let x be equals to 0. So you're going to have 3 by 0 plus 4y is equals to 60. Right? So it's 0 plus 4y is equals to 60. Then y would be equals to carry across 60. That is 60 divided by 4, which is equal to 4 going to 6, 1 time remainder 2, so 15. So y is equals to 15. So my first coordinate would be 0, 15. And then you're going to say let y be equals to 0, right? And let me put this underneath. So let y be equals to 0. That would be 3x plus 4 by 0 is equals to 60. Right, so that's 3x is equals to 60. So you want to make x the subject of the formula. You carry across 3. So x is equals to 60 divided by 3, which is equals to 20. So my second coordinate would be x is 20, y is 0. And these are the 2 points you're going to plot for that equation there. So let's look at it. 0, 15, x is 0 on your y-axis, and 15 is here. So we're going to look at this right here. And then the next one is 20, 0. X is 20, y is 0. That is on your x-axis, so it will be right here. So then you're going to draw a line. I'll make this into a different color. Draw a line. Right here. Right. So let's color this line so we can see it. So this one I'll put in blue and the next one is in black. Right? So they said that we want a region that satisfies both. So the first one is x is more than or equal to y. That is, we're comparing x-axis to y. So we want, I said up, that was comparing y. To compare the x's to y, we want where x is more than. So this is this area right here that you see in me, right? The arrow. Right? So we want where x is higher or larger, which is at 20, right? After this line. And then the next inequality is, I don't want to say it wrong, 3x plus 6y is less than or equal to 60. So we want below this line here. So we're going to go down. So we're seeing where the two arrows intersect, right? So that would be this little triangle here would be region R, right? That would be, let's put this in so this region in pink here will be labeled as R. I'll put this in. This here is R. This is where both equations satisfy. So they said part 4, the total number of mobile phones is represented by X plus Y. According to the graph on page 23, what is the largest possible value of X plus Y? So when we add X plus Y, we see that our equation for X plus Y is the sum. Right? So the largest possible value would be this coordinate right here, where the largest number of phones is 20, right? We're looking at the region that is shaded. So the largest possible value would be X is equal to 20, Y is equals to 0. So my largest possible value for X plus 20 is equal to 20. So X plus Y 20 plus 20 plus 0, which is the coordinate I just now showed you, which is equals to 20. Right? Now let's look at this last question here. The table below shows a pair of values for the function. So they gave you it already. Y is equals to x squared plus x minus 4. On the grid provided on page 25, which is this one here, right? Plot the remaining 4 points and draw the graphs of function of this function here. So they already gave you all the points, right? The first one, this first one, minus 4, 8. Let's see if that's there. When x is minus 4, y is 8, right? The next one was minus 3, 2. We have x is minus 3, y is 2, so we have that coordinate. The next point was minus 2, minus 2. That is x is minus 2, y is minus 2. The next one is minus 1, 4. That is minus 1, 4. The next coordinate is 0, 4, if I'm not mistaken, right? So that means we have to plot 0, 0, and x is 0, y is minus 4. That is on your y-axis, so that would be right here, right? The next one is 1 minus 2, meaning x is 1, y is minus 2. So that would be right here. X is 1, y is minus 2. The next one is 2, 2. So x is 2, y is 2. So that's this region right here. And the last one is 3, 8. X is 3, y is 8. Right? And this is the graph, how it would look. All you have to do is connect the lines. Right? So when you connect the points, it will look something like this. Right? As you use a parabola. Right? Now they said write down the minimum or maximum value for the function. Now guys, to find your minimum maximum value, you need to find out your axis of symmetry. Your axis of symmetry is known as x is equals to minus b all over 2a. This would be your axis of symmetry, and whatever that x value is, when you put it back into your function or put it back into this equation, that is your minimum or maximum value. Right? So x is equals to minus b over 2a, where we know the equation is x squared plus x minus 4. So that's a is equal, and if we remember, this is a quadratic equation, and we know that it is ax squared plus bx plus c, right? Is the form in which a quadratic equation is in. So a would be your coefficient of x squared. What number is in front of x squared? 1. Then your coefficient of the coefficient of x is b, so b is also equals to 1, and c is equals to negative 4. Right? So now that we know that, so x is equals to negative 1 all over 2 by 1. So x is equals to minus a half, which would be a line of your axis of symmetry. So we already did this. X is equals to minus a half, right? And then to find out the function, we have to, the maximum minimum function, it would be if x is equals to negative a half, then f of x, or f of minus a half, would be wherever we see x, we're going to put minus a half, right? So it's going to be minus 1 over 2 all squared plus 1 over 2, right, plus x minus 4. So this is equal to my 1 over 2 to the 4 minus, remember this is minus a half, plus and a minus minus a half minus 4. This right here, guys, is equal, you can use a calculator. When you use it, you'll get negative 4 and a quarter. Right, so my maximum value or minimum value is minus 4 and a quarter. A next way you could do it is if you have to use your graph, you look at your graph and look at where your lowest or highest point in the graph is. So that would be right here. The x value for that would be where this point is at. This top of the point would be 4.5, right? But if you don't think you draw your graph properly, or if you think that you need to, if you don't think that your graph is drawn neatly and you're not confident that you could find your minimum or maximum point from it, you can always just find your axis of symmetry, which is, this is the formula you have to remember, minus b over 2a, right? And then you just find out what is a, b, and c in your quadratic and put in the values. So we find out what x is equal to, which is minus a half, right? So if we find out my axis of symmetry, I could find out what is the maximum minimum value by putting whatever x is into, whatever your axis of symmetry is equal to, into your function, and you'll get negative 4.5. That is how you would get your minimum or maximum value. The last part was using a ruler, draw the axis of symmetry. Now we already know that the axis of symmetry is x is equals to minus a half. So we're going to have to look at the graph and see where x is equals to minus a half. That would be right here, if I'm not mistaken. This is minus a half, right? So you're going to draw a line going straight up between, right? Go straight up. So that line that I just now drew, you know what? Let's just draw this a little bit. Right. So that line, red line, is where x is equals to minus a half, right? And that is my axis of symmetry. So you just need to remember this formula where my axis of symmetry is minus b over 2a, right? And that is the end of May, June 2021.